Now, one of the joys of being in partisan politics is when you win, you get to redraw the districts so you can lock your party in for at least another 10 years. Democrats have done it when they control state legislatures.
Sure.
Republicans certainly did it in 2010 after the 2010 census. So now the Supreme Court yesterday agreed they're going to take up a case in Wisconsin, which is going to look at this question. The court has ruled, like recently in North Carolina, redistricting was wrong because it was clearly
racially motivated.
Yes. But this is for political motivation. What are the implications were they to rule that legislatures cannot draw lines based on political considerations?
It would be a landmark ruling, and it would totally upset how redistricting is done in most states. Now, some states do have a nonpartisan or quasi-nonpartisan way of doing it. California is one.
Recently.
Yeah. The most recent redistricting in California.
By the way, when I was working in the state legislature, it was clearly partisan, and I was involved in some meetings where
most states
there's a lot of wheeling and dealing going on.
Yeah, most states are like that. I mean, there were a few states where Democrats controlled the process and drew favorable maps, although really it's only Maryland and Illinois. Whereas, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, even after the courts forced them to redraw the new maps, it's still probably, it's more of a Republican-leaning map in a swing state, and there are others. But if the court were to sort of rule out partisan redistricting, actually it might look something like Florida, which is that the legislature draws the districts, but there's a constitutional amendment in Florida that says that they can't take partisan politics into account. And I think what would end up happening probably is that the parties would draw the districts, and then the party in control would draw the districts, and then there'd just be a ton of lawsuits. That's where so much of American politics is decided in the courts, which I think is positive in some respects, particularly when it comes to marginalized groups or whatnot. But is that really the way that we should be doing these things? I mean, I think it might be better if you just came up with a fair way of drawing the districts.